Hello everybody, so let's discuss Cooper's Brewery and the same-sex marriage debate currently going on in Australia, and the brouhaha that has ensued from this Bible Society video that has been released. So I'm sure everyone already knows, but let's recap it now. The Bible Society, who are sponsored by Cooper's Brewery, released a video of a light-hearted debate between two Liberal MPs, Tim Wilson here. He's pro-marriage equality, as evinced by the rainbow socks, and Andrew Haste, over on, I guess that's camera right, or his left, on the moderator's left, but our camera right, who is for traditional marriage, which was a nice way of framing it. And I don't know, this video absolutely blew up, and now there are groups who are boycotting Coopers. There are establishments, bars and pubs whom are boycotting Coopers, and it's even elicited an apology from Coopers themselves. But the advertisement itself, I don't know. Okay, so full disclosure, I'm not a gay man, and I might not be as personally affected by this debate as others might be, and it's also hard. But I'm very much so pro-marriage equality, and it's hard for me to get out of that frame of mind of this video. To me, seemed as though it was being much friendlier to the. I mean, it seemed like it went painstaking efforts to be as neutral as possible, but from my point of view, like, it's not a neutral debate, so it seemed like it was promoting equality and promoting that, this is just as valid a viewpoint, which I suppose it is, but people who think everyone who is opposed to same-sex marriage is a bigot would probably be very offended by the way that this ad was framed and presented. So I think it was a misjudgment by whomever commissioned the video. I'm assuming Bible Society. There was probably always going to be a backlash when you make a video like this, and that backlash came, and so Coopers themselves had to issue an apology. So this is a pic from their apology video. All the videos will be linked down below, along with an SBS story on it from where I get my next quote from, and some more information. So they issued an apology, and funnily enough, it reads a little bit like... So this is from the SBS article. It also prompted this video message from the company, with Managing Director Dr. Tim Cooper promising that the video has conflicted with our core values. Yeah, our core values of making money, right? So this is blown up in their faces, and it's costing them a lot of money, and it's kind of jumped all on the propaganda train, where a lot of people are just, without even seeing the ad, are just saying Coopers are anti-marriage equality and all these kinds of things. And as somebody who's pro-marriage equality, I don't really enjoy seeing both sides being presented equally, because from my point of view, it's a ridiculous debate. It feels almost like presenting the climate change debate on equal merit. So this is one person who's representing climate change, this is one person who's denying climate change. It's a 50-50 debate. So from my point of view, it's an absolutely ridiculous debate. But so to my sensibilities, I thought this ad's kind of, I would say, distasteful at most. But if you were neutral on the debate, or if you were from the other side, it's entirely possible you'd see it the other way to me. So from my point of view, the ad itself was kind of fine. But if you think there was a problem with the ad, feel free to articulate it down below in the comment section. I would love to know exactly what's wrong with the ad, if I should be indignant at it. And the other thing is, did Coopers really... Is this their tacitly endorsing... Are they even tacitly endorsing the ad? So I've got a link to the Coopers website down below, which will have their full statement, in which they claim, they didn't have any control over it. Bible Society did it themselves. So were Coopers even involved in the ad? And if so, is this a tacit endorsement of traditional marriage? So I felt like the debate was not an endorsement of traditional marriage. It seemed very neutral to me. Watch it yourself. It's down below. and the apology seemed sincere, although, I mean, any apology coming from a big company is usually going to be because it's costing them money. But I mean, the statement is plausible. So that's my take on the ad. I feel like it elicited an overreaction. But while we're here, let's talk about the same-sex marriage debate, and let's talk about the contents of the debate itself. So, if instead of focusing on the furor surrounding the video itself, let's look at the contents of the video. And I just want to focus on Andrew Hastes. He's the Christian Liberal MP, the self-declared Bible-reading Christian Liberal MP, and so he's for traditional marriage, retaining the current definition of marriage. So in his words, he says, I want to retain the current definition of marriage. He holds a common view of marriage, and that common view is that it's a comprehensive union, it is equal, and it is diverse because it has both a man and a woman. He also says the state should not be redefining it because it existed before the state. Oh, okay. So the ad, I already think the ad is kind of it's kind of neutral with me. But the arguments within the ad, there's no question that Tim Wilson was clearly correct. And let's just go over these. I wish I had have printed them up so I could point at them and go at them one at a time. Let's look at them one at a time. So let's retain the current definition of marriage. So he says it's a common view of marriage, so it's widely known throughout society. Okay, that doesn't mean that that's correct, though. So there's this argument that goes around where people say, why do you want to change the definition of marriage? This is what it's always been. Yeah, you pretty much just pointed out exactly what the problem was. That's what it's always been, and we want to change it because that's bad. Like, we don't want it to always be this way. We want to change it. So that's not really an argument against it. Okay, it's always been that way. Let's change it. So the common view of marriage, I mean that's not the crux of his argument here, but he's trying to make a point. This is how everyone understands it. I don't think that's all that popular view of marriage anymore. It's a comprehensive union. I mean, I don't really know what that means. Would having a man marry a man be a less comprehensive union, or a woman marrying a woman? It's equal? I mean, what the hell does that even mean when he says it's equal? Okay, so the man and the woman marry. Well, what does that mean, Tom? But it's not equal because a man can't marry another man. It's not equal towards the homosexuals. It's clearly discriminatory against the LGBTIQ community, and it's not even equal between a man and a woman. Like the woman traditionally takes the man's name. Like that's number one. There's so many. I don't even know where to start with that. But let's get on to his next one. It's diverse because it has both a man and a woman. What are you talking about? You're trying to use like a left-wing talking point here and being like, oh, lefties like diversity. This is diverse. Maybe more proponents of traditional marriage, let's just call that what it is, anti-same-sex marriage, anti-equality. Let's use that as a talking point. So now we'll see it all over the forums. We'll see it on Reddit. We'll see it on Facebook. We'll see our traditional marriage supporting friends say, no, it's diverse. Don't you guys like diversity? It's diverse. It has a man and a woman. Okay, but it's not diverse in sexuality, is it? It's not equal in sexuality. So if you're heterosexual, you can marry. So it only has heterosexuals. That's not diversity. That's not the diversity that we actually mean. And that's a ridiculous thing to say. And almost even more ridiculous was, we don't think the state should be redefining something because it existed before the state. But the state has already defined it as well. It's been defined within the state. And and that's a ridiculous thing to posit. As if the state can't redefine it. What if there's some new form of crime that has existed, some form of genocide or torture that has never existed, and the state has never defined it Does that mean the state can't define it now? Like, I don't know. I don't even know where to begin on this argument. It's pretty simple to me. If you don't think a man should marry another man or a woman should marry another woman, and you're a man, don't marry another man. If you're a woman and you feel like a woman shouldn't marry another woman, don't marry another woman yourself. We don't need to legislate against it because it is absolutely unequal. It lacks diversity, and I think it's not a comprehensive union when you're denying so many people equality within Australia, within their own homes, within society. And let's change that common view of marriage. That's kind of what I want to say about that. The last thing I would point out is, I mean, when you see how ridiculous that is, if you're against a man marrying another man, then if you're a man, don't marry another man. Once you break that down, you realize this isn't about whether or not a man can marry another man. It's about you thinking that society would be better one way or another. So I think society would be better if everyone was equal in the name of the law for marriage. I think society would be better if we didn't have to tell a 12-year-old boy or girl that he or she is different because they're attracted to the same sex. I don't think people should have to grow up feeling that kind of horror, and it's already been ingrained within our society. How many teenagers when they're young, their hormones are going crazy and they have these thoughts about, oh, what if I'm gay? And the torture that goes through that person when they experience that thing, like that panic, and because it's still within our society not treated as normal. It's still not treated as being an acceptable thing, equal, every much as bit equal as a heterosexual relationship. And I don't think it's fair that people should have to go through that in our society, and it's still rampant in our society. So, whereas if you think society would be better the traditional way, I mean, yeah, you're still living in the past and you're trying to drag the rest down with us. So, that's how I feel about that.